The following segment contains sponsored content. The opinions and views expressed belong to its sponsors and not those of Nexstar Media Incorporated, this station, or their affiliates or employees.
Welcome back to Loving Living Local. I'm Gretchen Wirtz, and today we are seeing better with Prairie Eye Center, and we are joined today by Dr. Emily Beyer. Dr. Beyer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, before we get started here, we have to congratulate you. You've gotten some quite a few awards here. The 2022 State Journal Register Readers' Choice Award for Eye Clinic, Best Place to Work, and Optometrist of the Year 2022, a repeat performance, I hear. That's very cool. And 2022 Illinois Times Best of the Best for LASIK Center. So that's amazing. Congratulations on all those awards.
Thank you so much.
What sets you apart, Dr. Byers, from everybody else?
Well, I would say basically I like to focus on the patient's experience. So as soon as they're in there, I want to make them feel comfortable, make sure that they know that their health and care is my priority. So I want to make sure they get a thorough examination. I make sure that there's plenty of time at the end of the exam for them to ask any and all questions they may have. And then we are lucky enough to have any specialty that we would basically need to refer to in-house, so we can prep them for what's coming. We know where to send them. They know where they're going. They feel comfortable staying here with us. So I just like to focus on the patient's experience and make sure that they know that they're heard and their questions get answered.
And that's very important too. And I think sometimes for patients too, they get into that setting, they're in front of you and they get a little intimidated. People forget things they want to ask. What do you recommend to people before they even come into your office, before they even come see you and something like that?
If they can think of anything ahead of time that they wanted to ask, definitely write it down. Feel free. You're never interrupting me. If you think of something and I'm talking, just please stop me and say, I have a question before I forget. That is more than okay. Anything too, if I tell them at the end and they can't think of anything, I say, please, if you think of anything, just give us a call back. So definitely anything you can think of in advance, write it down. We'll be happy to answer anything for you.
All right, let's talk about LASIK again. Just remind everybody what that is and what that is doing for your future sight.
So in simplest terms, we use a laser to basically reshape the eye to correct certain prescriptions. And so it helps people see without glasses or contacts. And it's one of the most safe and effective procedures that we can do as far as vision correction goes.
What makes a good LASIK candidate? Can anybody do it, or what would you say?
I would say majority of the people would be candidates, but there are some specifics, like there are certain ranges of prescriptions that are more appropriate than others. So the laser can basically handle almost any prescription, but sometimes people fall outside the range for that.
Yeah.
Often. So stability is also important too. So if they've had exams year after year and they're constantly changing, maybe not the best candidate. Usually women too who are pregnant, we say wait, that sort of thing. But most anybody can kind of have a consult for sure. Anybody can come and have a free consult. We do those all the time here. But most anybody usually falls within our ranges for LASIK.
And how long does it last? How long does LASIK last?
If you're kind of the ideal perfect candidate, depending on age and stuff too, it can be a good 10 to 15 years before there's any kind of change or any kind of what we call regression with the eye at all. But sometimes if you have it at a certain time and that regression hits you, it kind of hits you at the perfect time when your near vision starts to change and it actually help you out and extend that even further. So it can be a good amount of time.
That's amazing. Prairie Eye Center has a lot of locations out there too, in Springfield, Jacksonville, Lincoln, Hillsborough, Decatur. And Dr. Beyer, we thank you so much for joining us here today. And again, congratulations on all the awards. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Dr. Beyer, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, prairieeyecenter.com. We'll be right back.
The preceding segment contains sponsored content. The opinions and views expressed belong to its sponsors and not those of Nexstar Media Incorporated, this station, or their affiliates or employees.